Hey everyone, some of you might know about a YouTuber called Idubbbz. You might know him for hosting an event called Creator Clash, where he brings a bunch of YouTubers together to box for charity. But there was a problem when a lot of people got angry when one of the contenders, Froggy Fresh, got kicked out for trying to make a joke. In the beginning, he was meant to find a YouTuber called Crybaby, and to build up some hype for the event, he kind of made like a video on Twitter, like talking shit about him, you know, as a joke. But then at the end, he made a joke about subscribing to Anissa's, Idubbbz's wife, OnlyFans if he loses.
On April 15th, if I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anissa's OnlyFans.
This pissed off Idubbbz because if you already know him, he's very sensitive about like his wife's line of work, and he gets really annoyed when people bring it up. Not even like talking negatively about it, he hates whenever people just bring it up in general. And alongside that joke, Froggy Fresh also made a tweet joking about Anissa's mom, or Idubbbz's mother-in-law. And when it was publicly announced that he'd be kicked off, a lot of people got angry because they were fans of him that wanted to go to the event just to see him fight. But then you hear that he's been kicked out of the event for just a joke out of nowhere, it would be a little bit understandable to be angry about it. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because in Idubbbz's video that he released recently, he says that he wasn't kicked off for the joke. He was more kicked off because of his relation with Sam Hyde, who he was training with for boxing. And if you don't know who Sam Hyde is, it's this other creator that he's been having beef with because he makes a lot of jokes about Idubbbz's wife that he fucking hates. The beef kind of started a while back when Idubbbz visited Sam Hyde to make a video to like expose him for being a shitty person. But then Sam Hyde was kind of expecting it, so he turned it around to make jokes on Idubbbz for like wasting his time to expose them, and ever since then they just like be going at it, like fucking hating each other. In Idubbbz's video, he brings up how much he's changed compared to like when he first started the channel.
I think a lot of the content I've made has been irresponsible and misguided, and I think I've hurt a lot of people with the content I've made. You know, despite many people being entertained by it, you know, I'm not trying to take that away from you. If you feel like you've learned important lessons or you have grown as a person because of the content I've made, I don't want to take that away from you. With some good can come a lot of bad. And I think I've done a lot of bad, and you know, at the bare minimum, I've just put a lot of negativity out there in the world, and I'm working on not doing that.
And it's so annoying because in almost all of his videos, he brings up like how much he hates his younger self for being edgy or like the jokes he's made, which I understand, but he just won't stop talking about it and how much like he like regrets it. The part that stuck out to me is when he said like he feels he's done a lot of bad for the world, which almost made me like think like, does he see this boxing match, like the whole Creator Clash, as like a way of redemption for his younger self and like the content he made, because like he regrets it? And it feels like that with the amount of times he brings up how much he wants to like steer away from the content that he used to make, and the content that made him popular, with a lot of people going to his channel because like of the edgy jokes he would make. However, I'm not saying like that's 100% it. I just think it's interesting like to talk about. Anyways, back to the video. Idubbbz doesn't like the fact that he was working with Sam Hyde, kind of like a trainer, to prep him for the fight. And then he shows some DMs about him talking to Froggy Fresh, saying that if he wants to, he can stop training with him if he wants to keep going for the fight. But if he doesn't, he will have to like kick him off. But the main problem I have with that is that even though he's a trainer, he's not really going to the event. Like Idubbbz was even making sure that Sam Hyde wouldn't be appearing in the event. But if he's just training with him, I understand that like he dislikes him, but I don't think like that should interfere with the event. Especially when Sam Hyde himself has had boxing fights before, and he's clearly like interested in the sport itself. I just feel like Idubbbz shouldn't let like his past experiences interfere with the event, especially like when he's so invested in it. Like he's even said that he loves doing the first Creator Clash, like that he wanted to do it again. So for him to go out of his way to kick out one of the main contenders that a lot of people want to go to, which is important because it's a charity event and that would bring more money in, it does feel a bit like unprofessional. And then Idubbbz says that if Froggy wanted to, he'd go fight for Misfits, which kind of like defeats the purpose of his event for charity, whereas Misfits is more like for profit. Another part that was annoying is when he said like Froggy knew what would get him kicked off, as if he was supposed to know that training with Sam Hyde or being friends with him was enough reason to like get kicked out. Idubbbz was trying to offer the choice that he could stay on the event if he stopped training with Sam, but the problem was that he tried to like go around it in such a confusing way. It was really hard to get an answer out of him, and that's not really Froggy's fault because he keeps on asking him, am I gonna get kicked out of the event? And Idubbbz doesn't really give like a concrete answer. He just makes really long messages that's just really confusing to read. Idubbbz himself was even confused if Sam was gonna attend or not, which he should have known that he wasn't before like planning the event. Froggy was planning on making content with Sam, which Idubbbz asked him to postpone after the fight so it wouldn't like make more attention for Sam.
I got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want you working or training with Sam Hyde, but you're doing that, so all right, I'll look past it. I don't want you making content with Sam Hyde, but it seems like that's a real deal breaker for you, so I guess I'll look past it. It came to the point where I was like, can you postpone releasing content with Sam Hyde?
He's a genius. I got a chance to go out there and train with him. He welcomed me into his environment. He paid people to train me. I didn't even plan on releasing none of the Sam Hyde content until after the event.
Didn't you tell them that? I thought you told them that.
Ian requested it through text. He requested that I did that. What I didn't like that he requested that, because I don't think that's appropriate. I was like,
he didn't think it was appropriate. I do not think that that is appropriate.
Even though he doesn't really have the right to tell him what he should make with who he wants to, like it's not really his place, especially if it's content that you're not involved in. So it just feels like really arrogant to go and ask him, hey, please don't make this content because I just don't like the person. It doesn't really make sense. But then he got angry because he somehow ignored his request by retweeting his tweets on Twitter, which doesn't even mean that like he's making content with him. It just means like he's like mentioning him on Twitter. And I think that's like the really annoying part, is where like he sees like just mentioning him is enough to make him angry. I understand if Froggy wants to like be friends and train with Sam. I don't really personally agree with what he said when he said like Sam is like one of the funniest comedians in the world. I don't really think so. I just think like even the idea of calling someone the funniest comedian in the world is just dumb. But I understand why he likes him, even when like he's had past experiences with boxing and he can like kind of teach him, especially when Froggy has like never had a fight before. Me personally, I don't really like Sam Hyde and like the jokes he's made, because they're a bit like edgy and childish, especially for a man like who's like in his 40s almost. And I can understand why Idubbbz wouldn't like Sam, especially like when you see all the jokes that he's made about his wife. But that still shouldn't make him like act like a parent and tell Froggy who and not to hang out with. Another part that he brought up in the video is when Sam called another creator in the event, Nathan Barnett, a guy I like as well, he called him a rapist, or someone who looked like they would attempt rape.
That Nathan Barnett guy, I guarantee you that guy would rape somebody if he had the opportunity.
Yeah, legally he would rape somebody in Minecraft, by the way.
In Minecraft.
Yes.
If he had the chance to rape a woman, he would.
Which just feels really childish to like say this kind of stuff to someone you don't even know or like interact with, and just saying it based on like the way they look. But that shouldn't reflect on Froggy. Like the stuff Sam says should stay on him and just like be kept separate from what Froggy believes. Also, I want to bring up the fact that in his videos, whenever one of Sam's friends talk, he puts up like a picture of a nerd emoji for some reason. He did this before with Froggy when he put up like an angry emoji when he was like trying to make a point. And I really hate when people do this in arguments, when they try to like over exaggerate how the people feel when they're just like talking, like not doing much.
I truly believe if we had Froggy participate through the rest of the event, it would have made the event worse, like noticeably worse, because we are all trying to work together to make the show as good as possible. And I think if Froggy doesn't fuck with what we got going on, he was going to make it difficult. One way or another, it was going to be difficult when it comes to people wanting to fuck around and mess with the vibes. I'm not going to tolerate it. You know, you're going to get kicked from the card if you're being a piece of shit, and if you're not communicating and if you're not cooperating. And I want nothing to do with Sam Hyde as well.
This is part of the video where he says he wants nothing to do with Sam, and it's funny because I actually saw a tweet earlier saying that if you don't bring attention, then just delete your video, which I perfectly agree with. If you don't want to interact with somebody, don't make more content or like mention them online, because it's just gonna give them more attention, which will like encourage them to keep on doing the stuff that annoys you. All he's done is just make more and more content mentioning him. Like me personally, I didn't even know who Sam Hyde was before he tried to make the documentary, and how people like were joking about how he wasted his time trying to visit him and expose him. And a lot of people, when they saw Sam Hyde's video of him exposing Idubbbz, trying to expose him, actually like became fans of him from that video. But every attempt that Idubbbz has made to like kind of like knock him down has just backfired like completely wrong. And then the discussion went back to him saying like how he's pissed off at people saying like his wife's changing for the worst, which is just, he said it so many times, it's actually annoying to even bring it up. And I'm not saying it's annoying hearing people say that, but it's also annoying hearing like Idubbbz like cry about it, because he's done it so many times. All it does is just repeat the cycle of people calling him a cuck, which is kind of funny because I actually saw a photo earlier where somebody went out to the locations of like one of the content cults video and actually spray painted the word Kirk where he was. Then near the end of the video, he reinforces his belief that if he brought Froggy onto the event, it would ruin it, like of his like relation with Sam. But he doesn't really go into like how he could ruin the fight. I mean, personally, the only way, like the worst outcome I could see is that after the fight, he goes on like on a rant about Idubbbz and Sam. But even then, Idubbbz could like prevent that by speaking with him beforehand, like saying like, I know you're training with Sam, but please like don't bring him up after the fight, during the fight, or whenever. And then I'm sure Froggy will comply and this problem wouldn't even happen in the first place. And that's why I think this video is so annoying in general, because in the beginning there was such like an easier way and better way for him to handle the situation. Let's say for example, like if he didn't make this video specifically and he just left the reason why Froggy was kicked out for like the Twitter video and like the OnlyFans joke, it would kind of be annoying, but then the drama would just stop there. There wouldn't be any more attention. But because he makes like such a big deal out of it by making the video, he just like keeps on adding more and more attention that he doesn't want. Seeing how he's been on YouTube for a long time, he should know better that the best way to like stop the problem or like stop drama is to like not like focus attention on it, because at that point you're just gonna get more and more people to talk about it, and then you're gonna turn your own fans like against you. And who knows, Sam like might even make a video himself about like that video, which he might, but the main problem is if how Idubbbz will like respond to it, because if he chooses to like keep talking about it, then like it's completely his fault, and like I can't like blame anybody else. I'm not trying to like take a side in the situation because I don't really like both creators. I'm just trying to like point out like the dumb stuff in this video, but that's all I really have to say. I'm just hoping that Idubbbz will like at least make a smart choice in like to stop this drama by ignoring it, because that really is the best way to stop it. But you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.